A doctor is supposed to be the primary reason for saving lives and alleviating people's pain. People put their full trust in him to help them recover from their ailments. But what if the trusted doctor, loved by everyone, actually had a frightening secret life, making him an angel of death? This is exactly what one doctor did, who, thanks to his kindness, was able to end the lives of more than 250 people without a single drop of blood. What are the tragic events? All this and more, we will discover in the course of this episode. But before diving into the details and events, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell to receive all the latest updates. So, let's start the video. Get ready, as our story takes us to England, specifically to the city of Nottingham. There, Harold Frederick Shipman was born on January 14, 1946, to a simple family. He was the second of 3 children born to his parents. He had a normal childhood like any other child. When he turned 15, he joined the rugby club and was able to make a remarkable mark in a youth league championship, winning several awards. Harold was known to be a quiet person, and throughout his academic career, his teachers never had any complaints about him. He was extremely ideal. One day, he decided to change his path from rugby to running, and within just 2 months, he won his first championship, along with a silver medal. Despite all these achievements, he did not neglect his studies, excelling in them. However, during that period, he experienced his first shock in life. At the age of 15, his father abandoned the family without reason, but Harold managed to overcome this. But what came next was even worse. 2 years after his father's disappearance, his mother, with whom he had a strong bond, was diagnosed with lung cancer. This was a major shock for Harold, especially since the disease had reached an advanced stage. He continued in this state until his mother passed away on August 21, 1963. At this point, Harold decided to continue his studies and fulfill his mother's dream of becoming a doctor. After finishing high school, he enrolled in the Leeds University Medical School in 1965, specializing in general medicine. During his university years, he met his future wife, Primrose, whom he married in 1966 at the age of just 19. Together, they had 4 children. Harold completed his university studies and graduated in 1970. After graduation, he began searching for a job and eventually started working at the Pontefract General Infirmary. After 4 years, he became the lead general practitioner there. During that time, Harold lived a happy life with his wife and children. He was known to be an emotional and romantic person, especially after his mother's death, which made him love his family deeply, as they compensated for her loss. However, all of this would change when he began using a type of drug that completely altered his professional path. At one point, he felt intense pain in his abdomen. Being a general practitioner, he injected himself with a dose of pethidine, but he used an excessive dose, which put him into an unparalleled euphoria. From that moment, he entered the world of addiction. Due to his work, it was easy for him to obtain strong painkillers, narcotic derivatives, and similar medical substances. He even reduced the doses for his patients to save what he needed, causing them to suffer throughout the night. By the 1970s, Harold was addicted to morphine and its painkiller derivatives. His colleagues began to suspect him, especially with his strange behavior and his forging of numerous medical prescriptions. All of his patients were in pain, as if they were not receiving the necessary doses for treatment. One of his colleagues managed to expose him and prepared a report, but as expected, Harold did not comply with the orders. They had no choice but to report him, leading to his arrest in 1993. However, luckily for him, he was only dismissed from his job without having his license revoked. He left the medical field and underwent a 3-year treatment program, with his wife and 4 children supporting him every step of the way. After overcoming his addiction, Harold was able to secure a position as a practicing physician at the Donbrook Medical Center in Hyde. With his competence, he regained the trust of those around him and became a skilled and dedicated doctor, spending 15 years there. In 1993, Harold opened his private clinic. Over the next 10 years, he received numerous awards and was even featured in a documentary titled The World of Work, which discussed his methods for treating psychiatric patients. Throughout that time, Harold was the savior angel, praised by his patients and colleagues for his competence and integrity. But no one knew that this angel was also the angel of death, who was ending the lives of his patients in ways that no one could imagine. What I will narrate to you now will astonish and terrify you at the same time. Harold, that kind doctor, believed in only one thing: that all cancer patients must die, just like his mother did, and that only those with strong genes deserve to live. Any abnormal person had to die. Harold only treated the surface of cancer, hiding his true intentions. With his use of dimorphine, it was confirmed that he was an addict, and thanks to this plan, he killed about 20 people annually over 23 years, totaling more than 250 people. According to investigators, Harold's first victim was in 1975 when he received his first patient, a 70-year-old woman named Evan Lewins, and that was when he became an addict. According to investigators, he would stop and resume his crimes at intervals throughout the year. The largest victim was a 93-year-old woman named Ann Cooper, and the youngest victim was a 41-year-old named Peter Lewis. However, in 1998, suspicions began to arise around Harold due to the high mortality rate among his patients, especially the elderly. Linda Reynolds, who worked at the Cemetery Services Center, expressed her concerns to John Pollard, the coroner for the southern Manchester area, due to the high number of deaths among Harold's patients. All the deceased requested cremation of their bodies and other provisions related to their estates. However, the police could not arrest him due to a lack of sufficient evidence to file charges. During this period, he killed 3 more people, and his last victim was a woman named Kathleen Crandy. She was found dead in her home on June 24, 1998, and the last person to see her was Dr. Harold, who also signed her death certificate. However, what most raised suspicions about Harold was when his daughter, Crandy, who incidentally worked as a lawyer, discovered that her mother had bequeathed £386,000 to Harold. This prompted her to go to the police, leading them to start a thorough investigation. They exhumed Crandy's body for an autopsy and indeed found the dimorphine. Harold was arrested on September 7, 1998, and after investigations, they found a typewriter that was used to forge Crandy's will. This led the police to open files on other patients and discover that Harold had been killing them in the same manner. Harold's trial began on October 5, 1999, and he was charged with 15 murders between 1995 and 1998. In 2000, the jury found him guilty of murdering 15 people and 1 count of forgery, sentencing him to 15 consecutive life terms without the possibility of parole. Despite Harold's denial of the crimes, this concluded the case. Many people felt that the trial was unfair, especially since the police believed he was responsible for the deaths of hundreds during his career. According to medical records, there were 459 deaths of patients under his care, while the police believed Harold was responsible for 250 deaths. Most of these were elderly women. Harold was initially held in Manchester Prison before being transferred to Wakefield Prison. On the morning of January 10, 2001, Harold was found hanged in his cell, ending the story of Harold Shipman, the killer doctor. And that, my friends, concludes this episode. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell to receive all the latest updates.